Hey dear creative mind, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you are here. Today we are diving into one of the most stylish and functional detail in fashion design. I will be showing you step by step how to sew it clean and professionally. So whether you are looking to elevate your pieces or sharpen your sewing skills, this is one detail you will definitely want to master. And don't forget to drop a comment and also subscribe to this channel. Let's get into it. So to begin with in this tutorial, first thing I did was to get an ST gum and gum it at the edge of this material, which will serve as my button area, you understand. This is to enable the button area to be a bit firm for this type of v-neck collar. So here now I bend it about 4 inch before ironing it, you understand. So I extended the 4 inch downwards so as to make it look accurate. Then I went ahead to iron it, you understand. So this, you just follow them through the 4 inch through out the whole place, you understand. So after doing this, I will replicate it to at this bottom part, as you can see. So now I'm done doing that. As you can see, I've gummed it. So I'll be using this pattern to cut this shirt now. So firstly, I use the pin to hold firm the both parts, you understand, the both parts of the material. So here now I place the pattern. I will use office pin also to hold firm this pattern as well. So now for those of you wondering how I created this pattern, there's a video on that on this channel, so do well to check through and learn how I did it, you understand. So now after putting the office pin, I measured the length. So I adjusted the length on both sides. And then about 1 inch below, you understand. So yeah, I've cut it, and this will serve as the front part of this shirt, you understand. And this is the back part of the shirt. So for this sleeve now, I'll be using this long sleeve pattern to cut this short sleeve, you understand. So what I did is to hold it firm and I trim carefully. So here now I will end this trimming at this bicep line, you understand. Then I'll fold the paper gradually exactly at the bicep line. So observe it carefully. Then after doing that, I will add allowance of 3 inch here, 3 inch on both sides, you understand. Then roll it and cut it off. So now to replicate this sleeve, because we are cutting for both sleeve, you understand, I ironed it. Then I cut for the both sleeve now. So here's the both sleeve. So then I opened it to trim out the front part to make it look very fit at the front part of the shirt, you understand. So this is a 0.25 inch that is shown in the pattern why I created it. So this is okay. And the next thing to do is to get on with the ironing process of this video. So here now at the notch part, I fold the material carefully. So this is just exactly the 3 inch allowance I added at the length of the sleeve. So I followed it carefully and I fold it again, because here I'll be putting hemming gum inwards, you understand, to make it look firm. So just observe and see how I'll fix the hemming gum. So now after gumming it, I just trim out the side. Yeah, now I head on to sew it. So after hemming it, it's necessary for you to sew it. Why I hemmed it is just for it to have that firm look when you iron it, you understand? So you can see how it comes out. So now for the shirt now, I place the back part of the shirt, then I place the front part, turning them up sideways, you understand? Then I will sew them 0.4 inch on each side. Just take note and watch how I sew it. And make sure you are using a tiny stitch while sewing. So I sewed same 0.4 inch. So here now, in order to make this look perfect, I ironed the part where I sewed just now. Iron the both sides. And I flip them around again to iron it, because yeah, you wouldn't necessarily need to sew on top of this shoulder part, you understand? So what I just needed to do is to iron it. So after doing that now, yeah, I just arranged it to iron the shoulder perfectly so as to prepare for my collar. So now I raise it up carefully, because me, I prefer folding the length before closing the sewing entirely. So I hold it firm with the office pin all through, so as to avoid any shaky movement, you understand? Then I started by bending back the left part of this shirt. I bend inwards with 1 inch, and I iron it carefully. And same way I did to the right part of the shirt, bending inward with 1 inch, you understand? Then I bend the back part of the shirt inwards, exactly how I did the front parts. So after ironing this now, I measured 0.75 inch at the neck part for both sides of the shirt. So now I will be sewing it close to where I notched it there. So I notched the 0.75 inch and I turned it around, and I'll be sewing about 0.4 inch, stopping it where I notched 0.75 inch, you understand? So I just re-notched it to make sure I'm able to turn it well. So as you can see how it looks. So I did same thing in the other side. I notched it first before flipping it to sew it. Then I notched 0.75 inch there to where I marked. Just observe and follow through. Make sure you're paying attention to all the details, you understand? So now, I went to the table now to measure the neck so I can proceed in creating my neck pattern instead. So now observe and learn the process in which I used to measure the neck, because this neck can be tactical, you understand? Just learn the process of, just learn how to measure your neck basically, using your 2 fingers to support it while measuring, understand? So after that, before cutting the neck, I just want to create a nice looking pocket for this shirt. So first thing I did is to measure about 3.5 inch. And I used the scissors to just trim it off. And I flip it to trim this rough part. So after doing that, I folded it and I used my scissors to get a straight middle. And with the ruler, I ruled the straight line at the top and I trim it off. Then now I measured the length of the pocket, which is 4.5 inch. Just 4.5 inch. The pocket is not necessarily that big, just small. At times when it's small, it looks more unique, you understand? So now I'm trying to create a little cap, little cover for the pocket, you understand? So I just trim off this rough part again. And for this cap, I'm measuring about 2.75 inch. Then the length 2.5 inch. So I trim it off. So I fold it together again to get the straighter top and to create the perfect shape I want for the design. So I measured 2 inch. 2 inch will look perfect for the length of this cover, you understand? Then I create the shape, the preferred shape I had in mind, you understand? So just watch and see. I know you love it. So can you see? Yep, this is what I need. And I test it to see, wow, this will look nice. Just watch and see how I will gum it now. So I just cut the cover back. So now I went to machine to sew it out. You have to be careful while following this collar gum, because you need to follow it very close to the collar gum, you understand? So I trimmed this very close to the collar gum as well. Just observe how I'm trimming it. Yeah, this part I will be notching it at 3 points, you understand? Because that part will be very sensitive when turning it. So now I turn it around carefully. Now with the help of hand needle, I pluck out the tip of this cover here. As you can see now. So here now I'll be ironing it, but before that, I just fix in little hemming gum side by side inwards, you understand? Because yeah, I won't really need to sew this cover. So just watch through and see how I gum it. So with the help of the hemming gum, can you see how this looks very neat? So now I fold the top part. So I just bring the main pocket now, folding it this side and the other side. Because I'll be using this side by side to measure the middle point for the cover, how it will balance on it. So now I place my hemming gun at the top, then I put the cover on top because I'll be gumming it together. So just ensure you place the cover at the middle point of the pocket. After gumming it, I will go and sew it now instead. Just watch and see how I sew it. Sewing it just close to where I'll be folding it. Exactly where I'll be folding it. That was where I sewed it instead. So now I put the hemming gum and fold it. So just watch and see the process of this pocket. So after gumming the side of this pocket, next thing I did now is to put in the fancy button. So after marking it, I just use the needle to sew the fancy button before gumming this pocket on the shirt. So just watch and see how it will look very much unique with this button. As you can see now, our pocket is very much ready instant. So I just tied the thread now. So now I head on to place it on the shirt. I measured about 8.5 inch for the length, and at this side I measured 3.25 inch, you understand, on both ends. Then I went ahead to plug in hemming gum on each side so I can be able to iron them to hold it firm, you understand. So after gumming it now, I flip it back to gum it inwards so as to make sure that the hemming gum have been totally gummed, you understand. Then I went ahead to sew it. Sewing it using about tiny stitch, you understand, just little stitch and to make the work come out smart and neat, you understand? So now I'm done with the pocket design. So now I went ahead to get the pattern which I have created for the V-neck collar. So I place it carefully on the collar gum and I use office pin to hold it firm. So for those of you that have not learned how I created this pattern for the V-neck collar, you can as well check my channel because I've already posted it before this video, or just check the description, you'll find it there. So now I use the pencil to trace the side by side of this pattern, you understand? Just follow through carefully. So I did the same thing on this lower part of the pattern as well. Just holding it with the pins and without tracing it with the pencil, you understand? So after that, I took the pattern off. So as you can see now, I use a pin to hold the collar gum firm together. Carefully, just observe. Then I trim it off with scissors, yeah. As you can see, at this point, I minus 0.25 inch because when I'll be joining it, at that part it might be too strong because it's a collar gum. So that's why I trim off the 0.25. Or while gumming it to the material, I'll add back the 0.25 which I trimmed out, you understand? So now I head on to gum it. So this is how it looked like. So firstly, I trim off the exact shape of the material to the collar. Then now, in order to prevent direct heat, I place a fabric on top before ironing the collar, you understand? Now I trim the bottom part exactly, and here now I added back the 0.25 inch which I minus while cutting the collar gum. So just see and observe it carefully. Then I went ahead to gum the lower part of the collar also. So just watch through and see how I'll cut it off, you understand? So now I'll be cutting it exactly at the collar gum area. Just following it close to the collar gum exactly, you understand? So after doing that, then I'll be replicating them, like repeating it on a plain material. So as you can see, I've done it there. So I'll be replicating also, repeating the bigger one, you understand? After that, I went ahead to sew it. But before sewing it, yeah, now what you do, you have to be very sensitive and understand. I folded it together and notched it because you'll be using these notch points to be able to join them easily. So I notched it upwards and downwards, especially on this smaller part, understand. Then I took up the bigger one as well and I put them together. I'll be notching it just at this lower part here, understand. Now with this notch, I can be able to connect them at the middle line of this collar. So now, let's watch. I'll be sewing just 0.25 inch because you remember that was the exact measurement I added while creating the pattern. So just follow it carefully because the shape can be quite tactical to follow. So you need to be very careful while sewing this. After sewing this part, you flip it again to sew it the other way around. The middle part of this collar, you understand? So here now, this is how it look like. Then you just notch them side by side. You know, it's a curve shape, so you just have to notch it so that you can be able to bend it well while ironing it, you understand? Get. So moving on to the next one, I just did the same thing, notching it at the middle part, you understand? So just observe and see through it. Then I sewed this also using 0.25 inch, following it carefully. Now you see why I minused the 0.25 inch while I was placing the pattern and cutting it on this collar gun. Understand? It's for this reason, so as not to make it too thick at this middle line here. Understand? So now after doing this, you can see how it looks like to be able to fold easily. Then here now I just notched it the same way I did in the previous one. So this notch point will help it to be able to balance well, you understand? So now I'll just lap it carefully with the iron. Now it's very balanced here. So for those of you wondering what type of collar gun I use, this is a very, very light collar gun I use on this. So just try and use a very light one, not that thick collar gun you normally use. So here now, I iron this part just as to straighten the sewing, you understand? Then at this point, I'll be opening the middle part for this side where I sewed it. Because here, obviously, I didn't gum anything on it. So the ironing have to be opened, like press opening here, you understand? And this is how it look like. Then I pressed it on top of the material again. just to make sure it's straight. Now I head on to join them together now, so I can interface this here. Just want to interface it now, so just observe carefully. I saw it close to the collar gum too here. So while sewing this, you make sure you are observing the other material below, so it won't kind of encompass or maybe be more than, because this is an elastic material, you understand? It can somehow stretch and disrupt the measurement. Done with that. Next thing I do is just trim the sides and notch it here as well, and interface it now. So just observe how we plug out this edge with this needle. Make sure while plugging this, you use your hand needle. And just follow it carefully with your hand needle. Because I know most of you, while sewing cola, you use scissors. But scissors only give you the popular edge shape you want. So that's why I recommend using hand needle while doing stuff like this. Now after that, I went ahead and before ironing this, I place in like tiny hemming gum, you understand? So as to help it hold the back interface firm together, you understand? Because on this part I won't be sewing it on top, so I just want it to look simple and classic. So with the help of hemming gum, I'll just bend it and iron it, and in no time the collar will soon be ready. So yeah, while doing it, you just have to be careful. Just bend it carefully. And make sure this other back interface doesn't show on the real face of this collar. So that's why you have to just draw this back one inwards so as to give the outer part a beautiful look. So that's why I just try to do here. That's why I use my hemming gum. Just hold it firm since I won't be sewing it. As you can see, the back one is not really sewing. So here now, I just hold the down part of this collar by sewing it with free stitch, you understand? Free running stitch here. It doesn't have to be tiny stitch because I'm just using it to hold the bottom part of the collar. And after doing that, I just trim out the excesses below them. Now we're moving on to fixing this collar inside. So now just as close to the 0.75 inch where we sewed before measuring this neck. That's where you start the sewing inside. So I'll follow it with 0.4 inch all through this time. 0.4 inch, and this sewing you will stop it shoulder connection there where you join your shoulder there. That's where you stop it, and that's where I will stop it here. As you can see, just close to the 0.75 inch where I sewed. And here you have to be careful while sewing it. The collar has a kind of unique shape below there, so you have to follow the shape because it's exactly the measurement for this neck. So don't try to reduce the shape, do it carefully because later on it will make the collar balance well on your neck. So now you can see how it looks. Then now this other part, the interface of the button, simply put around to close it up now. So now I followed where I sewed 0.4 inch and I sew it carefully. As you can see, just covering up the collar now. Same thing I'll be doing on the other side. Like you can see how it's still out here. I bend this part again, throw the interface at the bottom area just to cover the collar. So that you just turn it to check